Hey board gamers, PJ from Game Gumbo here, back in the Gumbo Pot. This time taking a look at another small box game. It's called Jalapeno. It's from 25th Century Games. Thanks to Chad and him for sending us this review copy. It's designed by Michael Kiesling and Wolfgang Kramer with art from Danny Aldana. Plays from 3 to 9 players. It's a quick playing trick taking game. And when I read the rules, I was like, there's not much to it, but surprise, surprise, there is a lot more because of some twists on the old trick-taking format. Let's get right to that table, and I'll show you how it plays and tell you what I think about those twists. Jalapeno is a small box trick-taking game with that little twist I talked about, and it's a co-publishing deal between 25th Century and Playtee. Games been enjoying that co-publishing where you're getting some games that I've always wanted to play from Playtee here in the States, thanks to Chad over at 25th Century. There's 108 cards in the box, but you don't need all of them. It goes by player count, so the setup is pretty easy. On the bottom of these decks, it shows you the cards that you use for the different player counts. For instance, when we played the other night as a four-player one, all we had to do was remove the pink and the green decks, take them out of the game. That's pretty simple. So, well, leaving 1 to 18 or less, depending on the player count of each of these 4 suits. And the way the game works is we're going to do the typical trick-taking thing where someone's going to play a card, and that suit, one of the 4 colors, is going to be the lead suit, meaning people have to follow if they're able to. If they're not, they can slough off and throw a card. You can just dump a card of any color, any suit, any number, whatever you want. And so if you win the trick, you're going to get all those cards back. Now, if this were the setup today, let's say that I was playing and we had 4 players around the table. If you have in your hand any of these number 1s, the jalapeno cards, then those have to be placed in front of you at the time. Let me move this here so we can see. So these are my 2. This player to the right. This player has this one. This player has no jalapenos. So these jalapenos are always facing everyone so they can see who has them. The reason is the scoring. That's that twist of the game. The scoring is that at the end of the game, all the cards that we won in the draw pile and any cards we have left over from someone going out before I do, for instance, if I had any cards left in my hand and all the cards I've won during the round, if I have any of the jalapenos, each jalapeno I still have is at -2 points. And any cards that I have that match up to that card, for instance, the 7 here, and all these reds here, each of those are worth a -1 point. So it can really add up if you win that jalapeno that is also the same color as the cards that you've already played, or that are the cards you've already won, or the cards that are still in your hand. You got to be careful. So what does that create? That creates kind of a game of hot potato where you want to play these jalapeno cards. You want to get rid of them because you're sticking even though it's hard to win with something like this, it's a way to stick other players with that negative modifier plus any cards they've already won. But at the same time, if you time it wrong, those jalapenos are just going to come right back to you. So it's all about the timing of when you dump these cards, when you dump these big numbers. In a 4-player game, the 12 is going to be the worst, the number that's going to win most of them. When you play offsuit so that you can try to dump these big cards, or maybe you want to win a strategic trick because you're trying to get control of the board again so that you can start dumping some colors you don't like, or maybe force somebody else to take it, or try to get rid of one of these jalapenos. As you can see, there's a lot more strategy. So let's talk about the things I like and the things that the one issue that we had in the game. Things I really like is that timing that we talked about. Any good trick-taking game like Rouler or Hearts or any of those other games or Rebel Princess, it's all about playing the table, not necessarily just your hand. Obviously, when you get a hand of cards and you're full of reds, and you got a red and a yellow jalapeno, and you have a bunch of reds, you've got some decisions to make, and making those strategic decisions in your hand, taking the best of what you can do with your hand. Obviously, there's luck in a trick-taking game. You're taking 48 cards, you're dividing them up between 4 players, and it's whatever hand you get. That's all about luck. But the skill and the fun is in making something out of this. taking a look at this hand and going, okay, I need to get rid of this this light blue 5 and this yellow 7, because I want to be able to just dump cards after that, go off suit, shrink the way my hand looks, and that way I can kind of control the board a little bit better. So I love that. I love the fact that it still plays like a traditional trick taker, even though you're trying not to win tricks in that aspect. So that makes it very easy to teach. Hey, you ever played a trick taking game? Great. This is the same game. You just don't want to win tricks that include jalapenos or colors that match the jalapenos that you win at the end of the round. Easy enough. So second thing I like about it is the inclusion of the jalapenos. That one little twist completely changed the way we played the game, because we can see what everybody has, and in our head we were some better than others. We were kind of counting cards as to what each player had, what colors they've already played. Now, I for some reason I get so caught up in the game itself and talking that I have trouble counting the specific numbers of cards, but I kind of play on feel. I'm like, okay, I know that player over there has been dumping a lot of reds, and lately they haven't been able to play a red. So I know that person is probably out of reds at this point. So that's gonna be dangerous if I play this high one, because then they can just dump some stuff off. At some point near the end of the game, you don't want to win tricks at all, because it's going to go downhill pretty quick. So I love that little twist of these jalapenos being face up and passed around like a hot potato at the table. I like that. Las palapatas. Don't drop that potato. So the one quirk that we had in the game, the one thing that we didn't really enjoy was the if you look at the numbers on here, we just had some trouble, especially between those 10s and the 12s right there. The typeface that you used has a bold font here, so that made some of the numbers a little tougher to see from the other side of it, for a little further away. It's a little tougher. And actually, we played a 5-person game the other night, and so we were kind of spread out a little bit farther, and I did have some trouble with those the 10s, 11s, 12s, things like that. So if there were a way that could have been cleaned up, I would prefer that. But honestly, that's really the only complaint that we had. I mean, we were surprised by it, and we immediately played again with a different player count. This game's a winner for me. 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed Jalapeno, and I think it's going to be a great game for our family game nights. That's Jalapeno. 25th Century Games. It's out right now. It's designed by the masters Kiesling and Kramer. Tons of other games that you played, Downforce. I go through a whole list of them. But they came out with this small little simple twist to trick taking that's been a lot of fun. This is definitely a keeper in my collection. Yes, it's a review copy, but it's definitely going to stay in my collection, because I always need games like this just to throw at the end of a family game night. I also have another couple that likes to play card games, and so we play No Thanks and For Sale and all those. And a game like this that's not too complicated, that's going to have just 1 or 2 twists on a familiar mechanic that they know, this is one that they're going to like. So looking forward to it. That's Jalapeno from 25th Century Games. Until next time, let's say they bon temps rouler.